Hey there everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to Tolkiencraft II, The Labors of Valentine. As you can tell, for today's tour, I am wearing pink armor. Well, it's not quite as exciting as I had hoped it would be. It is the armor from Botania that you get by throwing mana steel through the Elfheim portal. And you just make it using the standard recipes for making armor. And then I enchanted him. I really like the boots. I got haste 3 on them. Really like that. Protection 5 is very nice as well. Unbreaking, not really necessary on these, as long as you have a mana tablet on you to keep them repaired. Well, I was kind of hoping that they would be a little more exciting than they turned out to be. They have a chance of spawning Pixies. The more pieces of the armor you wear, the higher the chances. And the Pixies, unfortunately, are, well, they may be showing up to help you kill things, but they have 1 heart, and they have a tendency to fly in front of you. So they're not really much help, and at times they're actually what I would consider a hindrance. So yeah, that's too bad. But I love the boots that I got so lucky on enchanting. And you might be wondering what all the noise is. Well, I decided to finally make use of my small collection of spawners. And we made, let me just turn that off. We made ourselves, I made, with the assistance of chat, a mob spawner. So basically, I wanted it all to work on Botania flowers. I couldn't quite get it working properly. We were running up till yesterday on Botania version 1.25, I believe. And there was a certain flower that was working quite nicely. Well, it had a few issues, but it was working pretty good. And where you see the fans now, I had the flowers instead. Well, with the update, they seem to have changed how they work slightly. Well, let me show you the flowers. I have one up here still, because it's still... one of them is working alright. They're called Julia. And what the Julia does is it pushes mobs away to a radius of about 8 blocks. So standing here, 8 blocks in every direction. Well, it used to be, I think it was only in a horizontal direction. Either that or it didn't push as strong as it does now. Well, it's a sphere now, and it's quite obvious it's a sphere, because while this one's working fine up here, pushing down, the problem is that if it's any lower, it starts, you have floating mobs. You have, well, mobs that aren't supposed to fly hanging in the air all around. And yeah, that's not good. So I had to change it back to fans. So I can't say that this mob spawner runs 100% on Botania flowers anymore, which is too bad because I had hoped to be able to say that. Anyway, this is my little chamber where it's quite safe to go in even if the lights are off. This one stays on. And this is dark glass, so the light does not pass through it. And I just basically using a diamond dolly, pick up my mob spawners and place them down here where I want them to go. Come out and, well, go out and turn out the light and have the spawns happening nicely. Now, I'm currently running 2.1.4. It is going to be up on the FTB launcher pretty soon. Not sure exactly when. I got an advanced copy so I could, well, find lead, because one of the problems is that lead was not spawning. It also appears that when the ore regen was told to go ahead and look at the existing world chunks and regenerate ore, I've got a lot of coal, and I got copper, which is great because didn't have that much copper. But if you have an older world and you update, when 2.1.4 comes out on the launcher, go and check all your old mining areas. You'll probably find a lot of new ore there. I've been checking my old tunnels, and I have a lot of ore that was just appearing basically in the walls of where I had been digging before. So anyway, back to the mob spawner. I'm using Red Ally wire and from Project Red Transmission, and the actual lights, if I can hover over one, here we go, an inverted white lamp from Project Red Illumination. So the default status is on, and I wanted that in case for some reason, some issue happened. I'd rather they stay on than be off. Right, for the flowers, because this is the only one that is working, this actually wasn't here originally, so I don't have it set up to automatically fill this mana pool. I will have to work on getting the mana coming up here automatically, which I'll show you for the areas that I did get done, even if they're not being used anymore. So, as you can see, when I turn the light off, all the lights go out. You can't tell from here, but the one in the center is still lit because I don't have any of the wires running by it. Now, they can run by them or onto them, and it activates them in general. There was one instance where I found that wasn't working. And this light is still on, as you can see from the interior there. Anyway, let's go back down. And as soon as you turn out the light, you start getting spawns again when you're within the activation range. Oops, the activation range of the mob spawners. Now, that said, these are customized mob spawners, so I'm still seeing the occasional mob spawning, even with the lights on. Particularly, I'm also getting things from over here. I'm getting the occasional wisps and the occasional zombies. And some of them might be natural spawns, but I don't think they all are, particularly the wisps. So that's why even the light's on, we're still getting some stuff. So the fans, which are from open blocks, are pushing the mobs over here. And then in the trench, I have a third fan, which, as you can see, is pushing me. Because it goes through blocks, is pushing the mobs this way. Now, these flowers are called the bell thorns, and those are what are killing the mobs. And I've got them at different levels. I'll probably consolidate them and not have quite so many. I've actually got one buried several levels down in the block here so that it's actually even with the bottom of the trench. You need to have the mobs level with wherever you have these flowers. So these ones are going to kill mobs within 8 blocks going right across the level of the floor there. This one's at the bottom of the trench, so it's going to go that way. Actually, I think it's not quite 8 blocks for these. I think it's more like 6, because the one that I have in the center, I think it's right here. Doesn't quite reach the end on either side, and this is 9 across, so I think there's 6. But unfortunately, there's no reference I can point you at to tell you exactly the range. Each flower seems to have a different range, and depending on the flower, the range can be a radius of 3 or 6 or 8 are the 3 numbers that I've noticed so far. Anyway, so that's the bell thorn. And then down over here, I have, if I can get in there, I can't show you, or no, it's down here. This is called a hopper hawk, and what it's doing is it's actually picking up the items that are dropping. When it has a source of mana, it will pick up a far larger radius. Again, I think it goes out to about 8 blocks. Without mana, it does a much smaller area, and I don't have the statistics on that one, but my impression was it was about 2 to 3 blocks radius. This one, I haven't actually seen it in use yet, so I'm not sure it's actually working. What this does is if the Endermen decide they're going to teleport because they're being damaged, this one snags them, puts them on top of itself, and then lets you deal with them at your leisure. As long as it has a source of mana, it will keep those Endermen right where they are. Unless, of course, they despawn. I don't think it has any influence over that. Right. It looks like, because we've got a full mana pool here, there's no mana coming in this way. Actually, let me... I'm going to take that hopper hawk out here. Oh, maybe I won't because I have to reset it. Let me get the wand. When you look at the hopper hawk, I don't know if you can read it. It says pick up only items not in frames. That's the setting I seem to have it on, or at least prior to this update, in order for it to pick up items. If you don't have any item frames around. I haven't experimented with item frames, so I can't speak as to how well that works for that. I do note, however, that it responds to redstone, and I had to move my red ally wire around so that it was turning off the hopper hawk on me. So I had to move it around, and I was pulling my hair out trying to figure out why my hopper hawk suddenly stopped working. And then it finally clued in that it was this wire. As soon as I moved the wire, hey, it's working again. Anyway, what I was going to do, I'll show you the hopper hawk will keep grabbing it. I think I need to have that in my hand here. Right, so I want this to be sparing mana 2 items, so let's just drop that there. And the hopper hawk grabs it. Alrighty, so now we can see the mana coming in from outside, and I'll show you where it's coming from. Let's just change this back to accepting mana from items. This mana spreader, the reason it's here is that originally I was trying another flower, and this can actually come out now because we're not using that. There is a flower that will actually suck the experience from you and turn it into mana. I originally thought it was going to collect it from the ground, but no, it sucks it from you personally, and that flower is called the Rose Arkana. So you can also turn your own personal experience into mana, should you so desire. The Hyacinius. I've been so disappointed in the Hyacinius. I haven't been able to get it to work. I have put it, right where the bell thorn is, and in theory, how it's supposed to work is it's supposed to basically poison the mobs and take them down to half a heart over time. Doesn't do a dang thing for me. I've tried it with levers, telling it, because it could be activated by redstone, so I put down a lever beside it and flicked it one way and flicked it the other way. Tried a redstone torch, tried a redstone clock. Yeah, it's not working, and I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong or if it's, well, broken. I tested it with a new update, 1.127 of Botania, and still didn't work, which is a shame, a great shame. Anyway, let's get out from behind here. I guess I could show you this little thing here. This is just my little access shaft. I had so that the light that is right below or on the floor, that's right, when the fan is going, I can't get out of here. I am now stuck. Alright, let's go this way. When the fan's going, I can't get out. Anyway, that's that light right there. It turns that one off. Okay, so we have access areas going all the way around. This one will actually let me go outside. So you can see here I have levers powering those fans. And originally, this was feeding mana to a mana pool I had positioned here, which was providing mana to the Juliana that was, or Julius, pardon me, flower that was there, and the one here and the one here. But like I said, I took those out because they're not working the way they were well, yesterday. So you can see we have the mana coming from over there. And originally I had 2 streams of mana. The red stream was the one that was going over to the bell thorns and the hopper hawk that are taking care of the mobs and their mob drops. And this one here was a green stream, and it was originally feeding the Julias. Again, I might just take that out, or I might use it to feed the Julia up top if that continues to work properly. Then I'll reposition this to send the mana up and in that way. Oh, looks like we're done here. Let me just grab this. I was also looking into seeing if there was a way that I could automate basically using the flower as a tree farm, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. There is no flower that will chop down a tree, alas. I will say that how these exoflames work has been changed. It used to be able to power all these guys, all these furnaces simultaneously, and I don't think I have one more, please. But now it only does one at a time. So it's still useful. It's not quite as powerful as it was before. It was probably overpowered before. But when it finishes with this one, it goes to the next one, processes all the wood there, goes to the next one. And there's been a new noise added to these, which I really don't like. It's too loud, and I want it gone. I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn it off, though. So let's get away from the noise. It actually is... yeah. Oh, and it looks like we have some green mana going now. We must have been out of mana here, and that's why the green one wasn't working. Because they're both feeding to the same pool, and that pool is not full. So, of course. Of course it's raining. Alright, well, let's see, is there anything else I can tell you about the mob farm? I don't think so. Like I said, I had hoped to have it running 100% on flower power, as it were, and yesterday it was running on 100% flower power until I updated, which was a pity. I wanted to be able to say it was 100% Botania run, but I can't say that anymore because we need the fans. There is a flower called a daffodil. It will blow items. It will not blow mobs, or, well, you don't want it to blow the players anyway, but it won't blow mobs. So, yeah, that's what I was originally thinking of using, but since it won't blow mobs, that doesn't do what we need either. Oh well, maybe I'll think of some other way to get this working the way I originally pictured it. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this tour. Well, I guess it's lasted about 15 minutes, so that's not too bad. Yeah. In any case, you all have a good day, and I hope to see you in the stream. See you later. Bye.